Something I forgot to mention is that when my dad made his apology for saying what he said in Bible study, and I said, "I forgive you, but I don't trust you." At that point, I also set in place several boundaries for my interactions with my parents because they were not willing to be careful and consider the fact that I was in recovery from child sexual abuse and from lots of other, I've listed them in the other videos, all the things I was trying to sort through, and my family was just treating them like it was nothing, treating me really like my feelings didn't matter to them at all. And so with that kind of behavior, I set some boundaries in place. I set the boundary that for going forward, any emails or texts or anything like that needed to also include my husband Brian in them, that I didn't want my parents sending me texts or emails anymore that I was the only one in, because they interacted different with me than they did with the two of us together. And another boundary I set is that they were not allowed to come over. They lived right next door at the time. And we had moved next door to them on purpose about 5 years before because we wanted to have a close family relationship. But what we had found is that it was being taken advantage of, and my parents weren't considering how them just showing up at all hours would impact our day as a homeschooling family and would disrupt things. They weren't considering that. They were just doing whatever they felt like they wanted to do and showing up at all hours. And so I told them that I did not want them showing up anymore without letting me know, and that I would let them know if it was a good time for them to come over or not, but no more showing up unannounced. And I also did not want my parents to have any conversations with me at that time without my husband being present, because again, they were taking advantage of me when I was by myself and trying to push on me and break boundaries that I had set with them, or trying to manipulate me or guilt me. And they didn't dare to do it when my husband was also present. So those were the boundaries I set in place. And over the next 6 months, along with all the preaching that we got about forgiveness and how we were being bitter, and prayers for the family rift to be healed from my brother and my dad, and during church meetings, public church meetings, along with all of that, there were several times where they tried to break these boundaries, where they tried to push them, where they would try to have a conversation with me by myself, or they would try to text or email me without including Brian. And it just was clear that that was not okay with them, and they weren't going to be able to respect that.